welcome to Akulmach, and in our show Historical Reflection, I'm joined by Mrs. Meeta Joshi, who is a prominent historian. But today we will be discussing about the history of pandemic. As you know, we are actually facing a lot of problems due to this pandemic and outbreaks. So let's discuss the history of pandemics and outbreaks. So without any waste of moment, let's welcome Mrs. Meeta Joshi. Hello, good morning, madam. How are you doing today? And before we go forward, I would like to wish you Happy New Year 2023. So, what are the plans you are making for Happy New Year?
Namaskar, Kanchan. No plans. We should take life as it comes.
Okay.
Because resolutions are made to be broken.
Right. You are absolutely right. And as you know, we will be discussing a crucial topic today because there are news that as there will be lockdown and there's a pandemic which is approaching, and the China is already suffering. So I would like to know this pandemic and epidemic. We have a history of it, and humans have not learned. That is also one crucial point when we are dealing with pandemic. So let's discuss about this. What is the in antiquity, how this started and what was the effect? So all this I would like to discuss today, and I would like our viewers to really know about this history of pandemic and how all the people, human race has come out as a victorious to this kind of pandemic.
See, Kanchan, pandemics, endemics, and outbreaks are not new to the mankind. Since the records we have, like from very ancient times, we get to know from historical records that there were pandemics and endemics time and again. So if you go back to 2000 to 2200 BC, the first pandemic was recorded in China, and in that the person who was suffering, they used to lock the person in a room and let that person to die. It's because it was contagious. So after that, if you see, from 541 AD, we get a like chronological record of pandemics. So let's first understand that why there are these outbreaks or endemics or pandemics which have happened in human history. See, if you see the primitive man, he was a hunter and a gatherer. When a very like prehistoric age I'm talking about. So he had no house to live and he had no clothes to wear, and he hunted the animals or he gathered the like wild fruits and ate. And then slowly, when this fear was there of wild animals, so he started hiding in some caves. And as the time progressed, they started living in groups. Okay. And when they started living in groups, they started making some small huts of thatched this shoots or dried barks of trees, and they made huts and they lived. That's how the concept of society started. And when the primitive man, he moved from a hunter gatherer position to an agrarian society in which he started growing his own food, and in that process he started domesticating animals too. So if you see all the endemics and pandemics, they originate from a zoonotic pathogen. Zoonotic pathogen means it originates from some of the animals. For example, from 541 to 543 in Egypt, there was this Justinian plague which broke out. And that broke out because of the fleas which were in the rodents, the rats. Okay? And because that time the man started, growing his own food and started domesticating the animals. And it is very natural that when he started, growing, he started some trade and commerce also. And in this process of trade and commerce, when exchange of goods happened and people went from one place to another, there were more chances to get an infection. Okay, so the record which we have chronologically is from 541 AD, when Justinian plague broke out in Egypt, and it lasted till 543 AD. And there were three cycles of this Justinian plague. It was not like that in one go it was over. It came back again and again. After that, if you see, after Egypt, it there was a Black Death which was from 1347 AD, okay, in Europe, in which many people they died. Again, the infection was from fleas associated with to wild rodents, rats. Hmm? And after this Black Death, if we see the record, it is 1817 to 1824, first cholera pandemic. So it is, these pandemics and endemics are not new to human civilization. Every 100 years, if you see history, every 100 years there was a pandemic or an epidemic. So when it was reoccurring again and again, why the human race has not done anything to get over it or
Right.
control it?
Right.
The answer is that we have not learned from the past.
Mhm.
That is the main reason.
Okay.
Now, if you see the very recent one, which broke out in 2019, this COVID pandemic or SARS virus, why it actually originated, the scientists they say that maybe it originated from bats.
Mm.
Hmm? So why it is coming again and again? Number one, we are exploiting the nature to the maximum.
Mm.
And when we say that this place, the land we live is our mother,
Mm.
and we are not, uh, showing any mercy towards it, because what happened, if you go back to like 1919 and 1920, there was one Spanish flu in Europe, and after that, like, so many, like cholera, plague, that was not one or not two, there were many pandemics which came and went.
Mm.
So if you see this COVID-19, which broke out in 2019, we were wearing a PPE kit. Hmm?
Mm.
We were covered with plastic, like doctors and nurses, poor things. They were covered for almost 24 hours because they have to treat so many patients.
Mm.
And once you go for a nature's call, again you have to wear a new PPE kit. So what the nature is trying to teach you, if you will spoil the nature with lot of plastics
Mm.
and all these materials, polythene and all, then see what we do, it comes back to us. So
Mm.
the man was covered with plastic totally.
Mm.
You are covering your nose with the mask because the scientists they said that it is contagious.
Mm.
With your sputum or your mucus, it can spread.
Mm.
And when in 1919 and 1920 the Spanish flu broke out, which was an influenza type of disease. That time also, if we see the old pictures, people in Europe were wearing masks made of paper, because the modern masks which we have now, this concept was not.
Mm.
So they were covering their noses
Mm.
with a thread,
Mm.
on their ears. So that time also these things were there, they existed. But
Mm.
the thing is, after so many things, why the human race is not understanding the seriousness of it? Because when I told you about the Justinian plague, which broke out in Egypt in 541 AD, 100 million people died in that time period. It is a huge number. Same way, after every 100 years in Earth, there is either one pandemic or endemic or an outbreak. Recently, I will tell you, not I will not go to very ancient times. If you see, in 1968 to 1970, we had one flu known as Hong Kong flu.
Mm.
Okay, and this Hong Kong flu was, again, the origin was from birds.
Mm.
The influenza was from birds.
Mm.
Then after Hong Kong flu, if you see, we had this severe acute respiratory syndrome, which is this only, SARS.
Mm.
This is SARS 2. That time it was only severe acute respiratory syndrome, SARS. Okay, in 2002 to 2003. And this, again, they said that it originated from bats. Again, avian, okay, birds. After that, you had this very deadly swine flu, 2009 to 2010. Okay, then you had this Ebola virus,
Mm.
had yellow fever, you had AIDS.
Mm.
Till now, there is no medication for it. Till now, 2000, we are just stepping in 2023 after maybe some hours, few hours. So, why the human civilization has not taken a lesson out of it? We are still polluting the nature very badly. Only when many people, when there was this situation of lockdown, that time only we were like little disciplined. Once, like, people came to know that, oh, it is gone, nobody is taking any precautions, no sanitizers, no masks, no social distancing. So again, now in China we are hearing that many deaths are happening, and it might affect India also, because I read in newspaper that maybe from 10th January or so, and India undergoes a lockdown.
Okay, the thing is that, as you said, as you mentioned, that there are two, 3 points which you mentioned. First is that human don't learn about all these pandemic; they don't take care. That is one. Second is, after 100 years, we have these kind of outbreaks. So, do you really feel that this is kind of a cycle of a pandemic? Because if you notice that before Renaissance, there was Bohemian plague, and in that Bohemian plague, only certain type of DNA is being affected, and the survival of those people who survived the Bohemian plague, they came out as a strong race, human race as well as animal race. So, really, do you feel this is kind of a natural phenomena which keeps on happening on Earth to give you message or to make you more strong?
It is not about making us more strong, Kanchan. It is because nature knows how to balance. When the population is like rising like anything. So these pandemics and endemics, they come to, wipe out the numbers. So it is, and yes, because the gene mutates, human gene also mutates. If you, in genetics, they study about that, the human gene, the human DNA, and human RNA. So definitely, with the effect of these diseases, there are some major changes in human body. It might make you stronger, it might make you weaker also, depends. Because when in 2019 this COVID-19 has hit the entire globe, that time they launched a vaccine. But how far that vaccine was effective? It was like, it was just preventing the disease, and or maybe the effect was getting little less. It was not eradicating the disease totally. So it depends.
Yeah, there are many outbreaks as a smallpox, where there's a leprosy, which is also been, we have undergone these kind of experiences, especially health related issues for human race as well as for animal race. And this has been taught to us even by the inscriptions, by the practices, that we have to coexist. The animal life and the human life, they have to coexist. But the
You
thing is, yeah, but the thing is that we don't really take care, we don't understand, we don't have that kind of education which is being given in the school, that how to really take care, how to coexist with the nature. So I think this is one point which is quite profound. What is your opinion that government and the elders of the society should work upon this point?
Yeah, it's very true that we have to, um, as you said, that it has a profound effect, which is very true. Okay, and because these endemics and pandemics, they are not only making you disciplined in a way, they are also trying to tell you that this planet, there are like millions and millions of organisms and different living beings who exist. So as you said, that we have to coexist, but human being has this superiority thing, that he owns the planet. Okay, and that's why maybe the mother nature wants to give us a message that not only you, there are many people or many living organisms which are the habitants of this planet earth. Maybe maybe it is giving a message, you know to us.
Yeah, fine. So actually, we would like to end this discussion with one point, that people should have more more concern about the mother nature, and they should understand that they should not act selfishly, but maybe as it is Kutumbakam is the policy, is the thought process, and we should act on that. And I think any type of disease is harmful, and we should believe in good health and good diet plans and good living. That is what is required. So, any last thoughts you have, or message in one or two lines?
See, what message probably can be given is that we have to become little considerate and compassionate towards the other living beings also.
हाँ, so I think there's some, मैं इसको कट कर लूंगी एंड मैं क्लोजिंग कर लूंगी उसके साथ. We had a discussion regarding the history of pandemics and outbreak and how humans have come out as a winner after experiencing these diseases. I look forward for your comments. In case if you want to add more information, you are most welcome. I'll be meeting you again in our next episode with a profound discussion with Mrs. Meeta Joshi. Till then, be happy, keep smiling, and please take care of your health. Well, bye bye.